friends, welcome to CIC Spots and Ponder. My name is Xavier. I'm the Youth and Young Adults Pastor, and we are so glad that you have joined us today. Today we're going to be pausing and ponder on Mark chapter 2, verses 16 and 17, and I'm going to read it for us. And it says this, "And when the scribes of the Pharisees saw that he was eating with the sinners and tax gatherers, they began saying to his disciples, 'Why is he eating and drinking with the tax gatherers and sinners?' And hearing this, Jesus said to them, 'Is it not those who are healthy who need a physician, but those who are sick? I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners.'" I love this scripture because, the Pharisees here are so focused on why is Jesus spending time with the sinners and the tax collectors and the gatherers and those who everybody else is calling unworthy, shunned, they're separated. Society and friends, people wouldn't get around them because they were the evil one. And the Pharisees, as religious leaders, they were righteous in their own eyes and they were separate. So even though God called us to be a hand to the broken and help those in need, they were righteous and they could never connect and be and humble themselves or even be around them. So they separated themselves from, but here Jesus, if you read a couple verses before, is calling Levi, calling Matthew to come follow him, which is a whole change of trajectory in the rabbi culture, because the rabbis and over the disciples went and asked the rabbi, "Can I follow you? Can I be your disciple?" Here the discipler is putting his hand on a student, "Come and follow me." So it changes the whole dynamic. So Jesus is calling Matthew out of his brokenness, out of his lifestyle. So out of being a tax gatherer and now to come and follow him. So they're celebrating, as scripture doesn't necessarily say that, but some believe that this was a feast of celebrating Matthew that he threw for his friends as he's leaving the business practice. And Jesus is there eating with them. The cool thing that scripture also says is that they were following Jesus. So they were listening to Jesus. They weren't just sinners and strangers who did not know who Jesus was. They were actually listening and following Jesus. But the Pharisees, seeing Jesus and having seen what Jesus has done at this point, it's like, who is this guy spending time with the unqualified? Isn't he holy? Isn't he doing miracles and signs and wonders? Why is he spending time with them? But what I love about this truth is that Jesus goes into our midst of our brokenness. But he doesn't just go into the midst of our brokenness and eats with us. He calls lives out of us. He calls and makes us who he intended us to be. You continue to read as we're going through a one-year Bible what God does in the life of Matthew and how he becomes a great disciple. The wonderful thing is that God can call you out of the midst of your brokenness, your hurt, and what everybody else. He doesn't care where you come from. He doesn't care what you have done. He cares about you because he loves you. And the wonderful thing is that he wouldn't just come and be with you, but he'll transform your life. So today, as you're pausing to ponder on this truth, how is God calling you or reminding you where he has taken you from into who you are? Remember, even though in the midst of your brokenness, you are still his son and daughter, and there's so many truths that he speaks over your life. So today, contemplate on those truths and let us know how he reminds you how you're his son. Remember, lean into him and surrender everything to our King.